To another episode of the CHF Overtime Podcast. As always, Jordan DeLuciano here, and joining me now is the CEO of Verbero, 16-year NHL veteran, coming back to the podcast, Andy Sutton. Andy, thanks for joining. How you been?
Yeah, my pleasure, Jordan. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Andy. Good to see you. Yep, me and Andy, if those familiar, we spoke at the Fed Cup last year throughout the tournament, and now back on the podcast today. So let's just do a little bit of recapping for those who are new listeners to the podcast, those who were listening back then, but just need a little bit of a refresher. Verbero founded in 2008. You came into the company December 2019. What led to your decision to now become the CEO of the company? What was like the stepping stones to get you to this point?
Oh, wow. Well, I towards the end of my career, I started working in the product development space. I studied engineering in school and developed some intellectual property in the protective category, and started actively licensing those technologies, working on licensing those technologies to some of the brands that are now my competitors. All roads lead to Rome in the end, and I ended up shortly after I retired, working as president of a multi-brand hockey company out of Southern California. Okay. While I was there, I was part of some acquisitions and provided some funding support to that company as well. And it was really, sort of right around the start of COVID that, I sort of put everything to call. And part of that exit strategy was also to take the Verbero brand with me. It was a brand that we had acquired during my time at this other position. So, it came about very quickly. It's something I think I always wanted to do. When I was still playing, I had probably delusions of grandeur and thinking I was going to start a brand from scratch and sell protective and do all that stuff. So that was the passion part of it that still resides in me today. But now I have a vehicle for it, obviously, with Verbero. The brand has been around, as you mentioned, since 2008 and has done some great things in the past. And I like to think that we've, brought it into the, 21st century with some real modern advances. And, our stick is the lightest on the market. We've got the most robust custom program around, proprietary software, both on the team store side and the, automation update side of things. So, I tell everybody we're an equipment company with a hyper focus on custom.
Yeah, so you take that Verbero company now affiliated working with AAU College Hockey. What led to your relationship here? What's it like being now working alongside Chairman Mark Perowitz and now Scott Solomon, the executive director here at AAU College Hockey?
Well, it's been an incredible evolution, honestly. I got connected with Mark very early on, and he and I aligned on a lot of what we want to embody in hockey in general, and I think what we want to do on the collegiate front to allow the players and the teams to be better cared for, look more cohesive on and off the ice. So I think we really aligned from that standpoint, making things accessible without any price gouging. So really, I think it was a natural synergy with what Verbero provides, and how rapidly at the time CHF was acquiring teams, and really Mark and I aligned on the fact that combined we can make the teams feel more insulated and more cared for, which will give CHF more meaning to the teams and as a home base, right? So, and then that strategy has just continued to evolve, and now with Scott on board and everything that he brings to the table, we've got obviously a more intelligent and interconnected group, and then our group on our side, on the Verbero side, has also developed to be able to even better support that partnership. So the entire thing has been an incredible evolution. There's some really smart people involved, and we're all very committed to I think the same end goal, which is better visibility to this incredible product that is inside CHF, the teams that are there, the passion that resides in the players, and really just making sure that that every player and team is looking as professionally as they can, and obviously with access to the products that we can provide for them.
You mentioned just now visibility and looking professional, and something that here at AAU College Hockey, as well as Verbero, kind of took it up a notch during the Georgia tournament. Verbero, alongside AAU College Hockey, customized all of jerseys for Georgia, Georgia Tech, Florida, Florida State, and so looking professional. And that's another thing, which is something Verbero is now getting into, which is making all those new jerseys, like I mentioned, all those third alternate jerseys that have been really gaining a lot of steam on social media throughout the season, that you guys have had a big helping hand in.
Yeah, and you know that tournament down in Savannah, the Savannah Classic is no exception. You know, we wanted to make sure that we created a cohesive look for the teams, something they could feel super excited about for the event. I always remember getting a new setup or something like that. You feel fired up, right? You feel like you've got an opportunity to write a new chapter. It's a fresh start for everybody, and everyone's always fired up to get the back to school duds or whatever is new and exciting. So, the thought around supporting the teams at the Savannah Classic was that. And then subsequently, we've had good success with offering these replica jersey fundraisers back to the team. So hosting those third jerseys or replica jerseys or even original jerseys in a team store environment. And then Verbero, we've been giving the delta back between cost of goods and retail to the collegiate club programs in order to help them, be able to pay for the things they need to have a successful season. So it's our mission in general, and I think the same for CHF, just really to bring as much value as we can to the teams. And as a partner, on the Verbero side, we really have an opportunity to put a tremendous amount of money back in the team's pockets to be able to, allow them to pay for what they need to pay for the year. You travel better, you attend more events, get new jerseys, better jerseys, custom gloves, be part of our stick program, whatever it might be. We're here to help with that pursuit.
Such as things to do, equipment you mentioned. We just talked about the jerseys. Another thing that been promoted for Verbero is the release of their new stick, Mercury V350 stick, lightest stick on the market. Just talk to a little bit about that new stick that you guys have been coming out with and promoting.
Well, the V350 we've had actually in the market now for almost 3 years. This stick is incredible. It's a beast. It is one of the lightest on the market, with one exception, the newest Bauer stick. But again, it's not $440. It's $249, and we offer exclusive pricing to CHF teams. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We also do custom graphics. We're working with University of North Carolina right now on a Tar Heels version of this stick, and we'll do custom graphics up for any team and get that stick order in line. It's just another way that we want to bring value and also add a custom flair to things. We're wear testing right now a 330 gram stick, which would actually be the lightest stick on the market, and we don't intend on selling it higher than 249. And the same program would stay there. Verbero, our MO is to have the best product in each class. I don't want to have two sticks that I sell. So the minute we can get behind the 330 gram, we will replace the 350s with the 330s, because it's my belief that a lighter stick is better. You can move your hands faster. If you can move your hands faster, you can make moves faster, which means you can evade checks or the goalie or whatever needs to happen in a faster way. So as long as that stick holds up the way that it's testing out to be, we'll have that in the lineup soon enough.
I remember recently listening to you say that you personally was testing out. I don't remember which one, if it was the 350 or the newest one you have coming out. You took like a significant amount of one-timers, and the stick just would not budge at all. The stick just held firm the entire time, wouldn't break.
Well, yeah, and Jordan, that's something that we do with products, and definitely that I do. I want to make sure that it holds up, because the last thing I want to do is a lot like the Bauer stick that got brought to market. It was snapping like a twig with everybody, and they didn't seem to care. And I can guarantee that they knew that was going to happen. So, I want to make sure that anything that we bring to market can bear the Verbero name, proudly. And I did with the 350 gram. I went out and shot 350 one-timers in a row and tried to bust this stick. I was literally like, I have to figure out if this thing's going to break. And I proceeded to use that same stick for 6 or 8 months after we shot that sequence. So, that product testing is really important part of things. And we're actually scheduled to shoot a time lapse this weekend of the 330 grams. So keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully I get through 330 one-timers, and we'll be able to push that out.
How do you you play in the NHL long enough, but 330 straight slap shots, that's not like you're just passing it 330. You're really laying into. How do you hold strong for 330 straight slap shots? Don't your shoulders eventually get tired? Mine would.
Well, I can get through the day, and thankfully we don't include the video of the day after of me hobbling into the rink. I had a lot of surgeries in my career and stuff like that, and I'm definitely not as spry as I once was. But I'm willing to put myself on the line, and I need to be the one that shoots it. I need to understand what it's doing, how it's feeling, the responsiveness to it, how the puck is reacting with the blade, and all those things are so important, because you can bring the wrong stick to market. It can be lighter, but it could be very explosive off the blade. the thing that I love so much about the Mercury V350 is it's got a very cushiony feel, and the puck does not explode off the blade, sort of like a Warrior stick. So it's got that responsiveness. It has incredible balance without without being explosive when you get a hard pass or a backdoor pass or something like that.
We talked about the stick, the new one coming out, the 330. Any new equipment you guys coming out down the line? Skates, gloves?
Yeah, so we have an incredible skate. I mean, we have the only full carbon fiber skate on the market. I've kept it out of the market for the last, it's probably going on 18 months now, and really that's because we've been in product development to improve that skate. The improvements are almost complete, and we plan on relaunching the skate in the fall of 23. And again, we're going to offer very exclusive pricing on that product to our collegiate teams. You got to buy skates anyways. You've got to buy sticks anyways. I'd rather figure out an arrangement where you can use ours and get it at a price that is unmatched. Our pricing is already going to be less than half of the true skate, and then we'll offer discounts beyond that to our collegiate teams and players. So I'm really excited to bring this back to the market. It's because if you're a hockey company and you're an equipment company and you don't have a skate, I think you're limiting yourself. Warriors never had a skate, right? You think about that. I mean, it's pretty crazy at this point in time that they haven't tried to bring a skate to market. And I'm quite sure if they had our technology, that it would have the Warrior markings on it. But I'm real proud of what we've done with the skate, and I'm excited to bring it back to market. We've got a proprietary holder system now, quick release system that we have that's ours. It's completely our system now, which has been developed. We've modernized the graphics, modernized materials, drainage. It's significantly lighter than the true skate and many other skates as well, high-end skates. And as I said, we're going to be at less than 50% of the cost of these other high-end skates. So it's within our model. We want to offer the best product possible in every category and offer it at a price that really obliterates the competition. And if you'll see, you can hear just by hearing me talk about it. I mean, there's no one at the other brands talking about this stuff. There's no real passion behind it. The product innovation is stagnated. It's really just about stuffing new graphics down the consumers' throats and overcharging them for it. And that's not who we are.
Yeah, I know. Remember back when I played college hockey, the equipment is like a whole nother aspect to hockey. It's so much money, $300 sticks and the, what's it called? The skates as well. Good thing I haven't had to buy equipment in a long time, but hey, I should have been, if I would have been playing now, I would have got a good deal with Verbero, what you guys got going on over there. But back sticking with kind of equipment and with you guys branching out, the AAU College Hockey Affiliation, now working with the CHS, a conference which in the AAU College Hockey South, now bringing on the women's division. We've seen you working with the women coming up into the women's division, working with equipment and sizing. Just speak to that now, you guys taking a step into college hockey and the women's aspect within the AAU.
Well, the access is incredible, and as partners, we've really Mark in particular, and now Scott has made that accessible to us, right? So we've been able to really learn what's needed, and I think that's allowed us to evolve as a company. That's going to extend on to College Hockey South. It's going to extend on to the women's divisions, because at the end of the day, like, I don't want to just regurgitate product or services into a category and assume that that's the right thing. I need to make sure that we're solving problems, and each opportunity has its own set of variables that need to be looked at. And that's the part where I really enjoy that part of things. You really get to know where you're working, who you're working with, and in talking with the women's teams, like, there's very specific things they need, and they're also very receptive to some things that I believe will work. So even on the third jersey front, like to do a logo variation that's outside of licensing gives teams a lot more freedom and flexibility to be able to bring products in, to be able to resell products, to be able to roll out a third jersey or replica jersey program without having to go through the constraints of licensing. So there's just a lot of cool stuff that we're learning, and well, that'll never stop on our side. We just want to get better and understand our audience, platform, and opportunities better than the year before.
So now, CHF now affiliated with AAU college hockey. You guys are becoming a big part of that. What was your reaction to Verbero to now AAU college hockey now taking that leap, getting more exposure, becoming a more recognizable name when that announcement was made?
I mean, it doesn't speak enough, I think, to the evolution of all of this, right? And now the CHF has the backing of one of the oldest organized governing bodies of sport in the country, around before the International Olympic Committee, and really have such a storied past. And really the stability of that group just brings a whole other level. And you talk about loyalty to conference or the governing body. I mean, this just bolsters that, right? So now moving forward, you've got even more stable environment, and then there's the ability to garner more teams and more acclaim and recognize and be able to recognize more in the future. I think the opportunities that are there, and then the backing behind it. So I think it just in general it was an absolutely incredible move.
So we'll finish up here with the two last questions here. We'll specifically stay with the hockey aspect now, the college hockey aspect. So you were a Michigan Tech alum. You played at Michigan Tech for your college hockey days. From when you played to now you see the game now, whether it be at AAU or NCAA or whatever it may be, what is the difference in maybe speed, play style, physicality that you see from when you played to now in 2022, 2023?
I think the fundamental differences are, and this started while I was playing in the NHL, frankly. I think the style of play and the coaching has gone to another level. I think players understand at a very young age now how they should play the game from a technical standpoint. So I think that there's less disparity in that. The players that come in, and especially as you move up in levels, I mean, you just have to know these things. It's fundamental. The styles of play and how teams are coached now, and the things that players are supposed to do to succeed. It's a different game, and speed is definitely a huge part of that. I think the players that come in understand that fundamentally what they're supposed to do. And then I think also the players that come in now are in better shape in general, especially again at the level as you progress up in levels. There's just nobody that's out of shape. When I first started in the NHL, I can remember skating in the summertime, and when Wendell Clark, Leafs captain, I think he and many other guys from that generation like to enjoy themselves in the summer. And I remember Wendell came in and he was skating with us, and he wore garbage bags underneath his gear, like thinking he was going to sweat out like all the beer he drank during the year. And it's just, I mean, it just doesn't work like that, and I'm not trying to slay Wendell in any way. Like it's just the mindset of the athlete now. Athletes are more professional. They come in, they've trained all the intrinsic muscles, and all the support things are there from a knowledge standpoint, and certainly your bodily awareness. And then I think outside of that, it's always the intangibles that take you to the next level. You've got to have that, that fire inside. And then that's got to parallel with skill and opportunity to give you that, chance to go to the next level. But the game's never been better, in my opinion. I think I love what I see, and it's definitely translating down to the NCAA level as well. The skill sets are there. And I think we're also rewarding the athlete that wants to try the crazy stuff. All the coaches I talk to, drives them bananas, because, obviously they want certainty, and everyone wants to be the next YouTube sensation. But at the same point in time, people need to understand that for most of us, this is entertainment, right? I had a good friend that always used to tell me when I played, like if I was like rattled about something, he'd be like, Suts, it's entertainment. You're an entertainer. And I'd take a step back and be like, you know what, you're right. Like I need to keep this in perspective. So I think if we see it that way and really enjoy that part of it, I think the future is bright for hockey for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You've seen that skill-paced game, the shifty moves and the flashy type plays. But like you said, coaches drives them nuts. But I think the big question out of what you said, the take out of it was, did the strategy work for Wendell Clark? Did he sweat out the beer through the garbage bags?
Well, and this is the thing, like in his mind, it worked, right? So that what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And then, he was just, he talk about that fire in the belly. I mean, if it came down to it and something had to happen, like he was just going to make it happen. And that had nothing to do with beer. It had nothing to do with garbage bags. It had nothing to do with anything else, but just a willingness to like do what was needed, and to lead by example. So he's probably a perfect example of the, you know, the sort of older player, and how I think he and we, you know, came to the rink and the things that we had to do or thought we had to do. And the game's different now. I mean, the guys are all, you know, they have a specific type of protein, you know, shake, and they know exactly what kind of stuff to eat. And it's not just, you know, steak night before the game and, you know, pasta, you know, there's a whole other element there. And it's really been predicated by access to information. And there's a lot of really smart people now that are assisting players with that journey. So, and they learn it so young. So when they come in, they're pretty buttoned up. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you see guys now, they go into the chambers after the games. They got like the big black tubes on their legs that, like, I don't even know what they're doing, but apparently it feels great afterwards. You get those big things on your legs. I forgot what they're called. But yeah, it's insane the amount of recovery access players have nowadays. And not just like you said with protein stuff, like nutrition wise, just like machinery wise. Like I mentioned that the big chamber that guys go into. But we'll wrap it up here. Last thing I'll ask you, what advice would you give to college hockey players, whether it be their first year or right now guys going into the national tournament season and it's their last year and they got to try to finish out with a bang here?
Honestly, Jordan, it's the same thing I say to everyone at every level. You know, and in retrospect now being done, I miss that time so much. I miss the ability to go out and compete on that level. I miss the ability, you know, to be with my teammates and be able to travel together and fighting for, you know, one collective goal. So the answer is this: like you've got to appreciate every second of it. Be present. Fight for each other as hard as you can, and go out and give it shit, because if you don't get it right and you miss that, you're going to have regrets. So just go out and just live it, you know, live large, go after it, play as hard as you possibly can for one another, support each other, love each other, because when it's done, it's done. And you don't really always know when that's going to be. So just, you know, go out and enjoy every minute of it.
The CEO of Verbero, 16-year NHL defenseman, Andy Sutton. Andy, thank you for joining the podcast again. Look forward to speaking soon in the future.
Yeah, likewise, Jordan. Thanks so much. Take good care.
No problem, Andy. Once again, I'm joined alongside Andy Sutton. My name is Jordan DeLuciano for the CHF Overtime Podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you all next week.